What's up, beautiful people? I'm Emily.
I'm Tyler.
And we are the Cawiezell Crew.
So today we wanted to share with you guys a little bit about what we're doing. So obviously it's been a very crazy year with COVID and everything. For those of you who don't know, me and Emily have been engaged for about 2 years now. And we were supposed to get married in June of 2020. That obviously didn't happen because too much stuff going on, so we had to push back to May of 2021. So big bummer. We were all excited, we had everything prepared, and then that happened. So instead of waiting all the way until next year, we decided in October of 2020, we're going to actually do a small backyard with the family and friends kind of wedding. To give you a little bit of time frame though on where we're at, it is right now middle of September and we're doing it October 10th. So about 20-25 days is all we have here.
Since this crunch time has come down to us, we've had to really buckle down with any planning that we're doing. And through it, I feel like we've kind of become, we're not experts,
right,
but maybe semi-experts. Today we've compiled together 10 of our best impromptu budget-friendly wedding tips. If anyone else is facing these same things, we know a lot of other people have had to postpone their weddings, or maybe you're not sure when your wedding's going to be. You can throw one together really quickly and really cheaply. All right, tip number 1, you gotta choose a date, a new date. Yep. I know.
And the problem with us is a lot of our friends are getting married around that time or have been getting married.
Which we're so happy for.
Super happy for, but so you can't step on anybody's toes. Mm-hmm. And obviously doing it this short notice, you have to like be conscious of everybody else.
So once you choose your date, you can start moving to the next step. Tip
number 2, gotta be savvy with your money.
You've already put a ton of money into your big wedding. So for this little impromptu one, you don't want to put any more money in that you have to.
Agreed.
So some of you might have lost a lot of money with the postponements. I know that we have a ton of friends who postponed, had that happen. So you really want to be conscientious about how much more you're already spending on top of what you've already spent. That's where the budget saving tips are gonna come in.
None of that needless spending. You don't need the big giant fondue. If you can afford it, go for it. If you're like us though, yeah.
Third tip, you gotta be conscientious about the 4 biggest expenses that you'll have to be aware of to throw this off. The first expense is gonna be the venue or the location. Second expense is going to be how big your guest list is. Third expense, the food, alcohol, drinks that you'll be providing. And the fourth expense is the rings. Not the engagement ring, but the bands for the girl and the guy.
Totally. All right, so number 4 is the venue location. So specifically where we're doing ours, we looked around, and again, going back to step number 2 or 3, being conscious of those big expenses, your money, what you're gonna do with it. Renting out a place was so expensive for the little amount of time we needed it for.
And during COVID right now, we still have a lot of restrictions that we're trying to avoid. That's why we're postponing in the first place.
Agreed, exactly. We went to a couple of parks nearby, a couple of campgrounds where maybe we could just post up, because obviously our ceremony is not going to be very long, at 15 minutes, so we don't need the spot for very long. But in the end, we decided, screw it. Best place to do it's going to be in our backyard. So we have kind of a nice-ish backyard.
It's tiny.
It's little,
tiny.
But for the amount of people we're gonna have there, it shouldn't matter. And that best way is we don't have to drive anywhere.
Yes,
so
everything can happen there.
We wake up in my pajamas. We're gonna get married in our pajamas.
Oh my God, no. But if you are someone that lives in an apartment, then you don't have a backyard necessarily. So maybe look at those local parks or look at a friend's house. Maybe your friends have houses that you can use their backyards.
Yep.
You can still get creative on a very small budget. In our case, it's free.
Backyard.
All right, tip number 5 is that guest list. Obviously, the more people that you invite, the more mouths that you have to feed, the more chairs that you have to provide,
Yep.
and the number and the expense just keeps going up.
Yep.
So due to COVID, needing to keep our numbers small, and us wanting to have a low budget impromptu wedding,
Yep.
we are limiting it to just our immediate family, not even aunts, uncles, or anything like that, immediate family, and just our wedding party. So we'll still have our bridesmaids, groomsmen, and then our immediate families.
Which I know a lot of people are like, oh, I could never do that because I would feel bad and everything. That's why, you have we still have the big day in May where everyone can be a part of it. It's a big party, bridal party, family, done. Number 6, it's gonna be that food and alcohol situation. So if you're like my family or friends or anyone I come in contact with, you're a drinker. So
I like to have fun.
Yeah. So it helps. I have, you know, the bar that you guys have seen in the basement, so that'll be nice. But also, you know, you got to be conscientious of other people who either drink seltzers or things like that. So the alcohol situation is a little bit tricky, and it probably will end up being our most expensive part of this.
But it won't be too bad because, again, we kept that guest list very small, around 20 people.
Right. So therefore, one keg will probably suit
plenty.
I would hope, you know.
Some of our friends.
But that, and on top of just a few, and we're gonna make a nice mixed drink. As far as food goes though, we were thinking charcuterie boards, sandwiches, those little, you know, rolls, because who doesn't love those? Making your own sandwiches with the rolls. That right there, super cheap, super easy. You don't have to cater anything. You don't have to work.
Because catering is where that priciness comes in.
Much.
Anytime that you have to hire out to a third party, that's where that expense comes in, because they'll charge you for labor, delivery, all of that.
Exactly.
So we're just doing it on our own. We're gonna go to Walmart, we're gonna go to Aldi, we're gonna go to Sam's Club or Costco, those wholesale stores, and provide it ourselves, so that way we cut out that middleman. Tip number 7 is the rings. So you hopefully have budgeted for your wedding bands with your original wedding plans, but if you didn't, we do still have one more tip. So when we went into the place that he got my engagement ring at, we decided we were going to see if we could get both of our rings there. By doing that, we could then ask them, hey, if we're getting both the groom and the bride's band there, can we get a deal? And sure enough, they were able to cut us a deal. So a lot of times it really doesn't hurt to ask. You don't have to be crazy or nasty about it. So I highly advise even the people who feel like they have no negotiation skills, just say, hey, do you guys have any deals if we buy both of the bands here? Usually they'll, you know, hopefully get you one.
And if you're a guy like me, my ring's gonna be super simple, so, you know, the only difference was we weren't planning on buying these until later, closer to the date, so that was the only thing, you had to move up the timeline. Tip number 8 is gonna be the decor, because obviously you want it to look nice.
So with our backyard, it's not very big and not very pretty. We have neighbors like all along. So we're wanting to try and make it really romantic and intimate and whimsical. So to do that, we're just doing simple things like putting up string lights. I know you like that word, right? Whimsical with the string lights, right? Or just use what you have around the house. We have like pieces of eucalyptus garland that we're just gonna bring outside. We're gonna use tables that we have from Inside Outdoors. And also use your friends. So with the charcuterie boards, we're just asking, hey, if you have a wooden cutting board, bring it over. Some of our friends have tables, chairs that we can borrow, speakers to play music. So use your friends. They're so happy for you and so willing to help.
Unless they suck.
Then you don't need any of that. You just got each other and just
courthouse.
Yeah. And so the biggest thing was we wanted some type of focal point in our backyard. So we had been chatting about maybe getting an arch online, but they got really expensive and it takes a long time to come in.
And you only use them once.
We got like 30 days. I was really sad Thursday night going to bed because I didn't know how we were gonna make it cute. Then I get home Friday and this little honey and a half literally made us a homemade arch using the old wood from the fence from this house.
No big deal.
Oh, he painted it, everything. It was the sweetest thing ever.
Yeah.
So now we get to use that, our little arch, for our little impromptu wedding.
And then we can just set it on fire when we're done.
No, it's gonna go in like a garden when we get a bigger house someday.
It'll go in a garden.
And then we're also going to build like a little PVC pipe backdrop to kind of give us a background so that way we're not looking at our neighbors. And it's like under $10 for all of the materials.
Super cheap.
And he took videos of himself building the arch, and we're going to show you also clips of us building this PVC backdrop so you guys can have a little inspiration. Let's roll it.
Number 9 is going to be that marriage license. So that's something I feel like a lot of people forget about, that they have to have a marriage license. They just kind of think it happened. So you gotta, right now with COVID, I had to call in, get the forms online, and then we had to go to a bank to get it notarized, because you have to have a notary watch you sign it, which was ridiculous. And because we went through the drive-through of a bank.
Well,
to do this.
The thing is, everything's closed. So we were thinking, crap, we don't have time. The courthouse was closed, the bank was closed.
But nonetheless, we had to go through a bank drive-through to get it notarized. Then, instead of taking it in like you usually do, just mail it in. But make sure you get that in, because who knows how long it's gonna take to get back to you. You wanna have as much time as you can for it to get back, in case you forgot to fill something out or something goes wrong. Luckily, ours took only about 4 or 5 days, so not too bad, but make sure you get that done.
And finally, tip number 10 is just to have amazing family and friends around you. Our family has been incredible for us this whole time. They've been a huge support system. Our friends have been unlike any other. We are so blessed to have the people around us, literally dropping whatever to help us, to get us to have the day that we want, giving us whatever they can to provide. And so just that support system, use them, lean on them. They're there for you, and they're so happy for you. So hopefully with all of this, you can take a deep breath, feel like you've got a good handle on it, and just take back your wedding. Just own it.
Just remember, it's for you guys. It's not for anybody else. Who cares what it looks like? Who cares what it is? Eventually, someday you can throw a party, you can do whatever you want, but this day is for you guys.
And at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is that you're with that person that you love, and you guys are married in the end. So let's do it.
All right. We'll see you guys next time.